Before we start tonight, I want you to think about the last time someone told you that something you felt was not real. Maybe it was a parent. Maybe it was a friend who meant well. Maybe it was your own voice, the one that lives in the back of your head and has an opinion about everything. And I want you to think about what it cost you to keep believing in it anyway. Tonight's episode is about that. It's about the people who met in a place the world had already decided was for losers, for lonely people, for people who couldn't do it the normal way. They met online, and everyone, their families, their friends, sometimes even themselves, had an opinion about what that meant, what it was worth, whether it was real. And tonight we're going to sit with 3 of those stories. 3 people who fell in love through a screen, through text messages, through voice notes and late-night calls across time zones, and came out the other side with something that outlasted every single person who doubted them. This is Love in Real Time. I'm glad you're here. My name is Gunther, and this is the show where real love stories meet original music. Every episode, we take one theme. One of the ways that love shows up in this complicated, messy, beautiful world. And we tell the stories that belong to it. Not the highlight reel, not the Instagram version, the real one. The one with the doubt and the distance and the 2 a.m. conversations where you're not sure if you're brave or just desperate enough to keep going. And at the moments where words stop being enough, we let the music carry it. Tonight's theme is online love. And I know what some of you are already thinking, because I've heard it. I've said it. It's not the same as meeting in person. How do you really know someone through a screen? What if they're not who they say they are? And here's what I've learned from the stories I'm about to tell you. Every single one of those doubts is valid. And every single one of those doubts was wrong, because love, real love, has never cared about the method of delivery. It didn't care when people fell in love through letters they sent across oceans for months before they ever heard each other's voices. It didn't care when the telephone was considered too impersonal for anything meaningful. It doesn't care now, when 2 people find each other in an app, in a comment section, in a Discord server at midnight while they're both supposed to be doing something else. Love is not a location. It's a recognition. And tonight we're going to talk to 3 people who recognize something. Across the distance, across the doubt, across the voices that told them it wasn't real. Let's start with story 1. Her name is Mara. She was 32. Living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Portland, Oregon, working a job she was good at but didn't love, eating the same 3 dinners on rotation, and doing what a lot of us do in those in-between years of our lives, filling the quiet hours with the internet. She'd found this channel on YouTube, a guy who made videos about architecture, not tutorials, not how-tos, just walking through buildings and talking about why they were beautiful, what the person who designed them was trying to say, what it felt like to stand inside a space that was built with intention. She watched every video. She left a comment on one of them, something she noticed about the way light moved through a particular window in a building he'd filmed in Lisbon. She didn't think anything of it. He replied. His name was Daniel. He was 35, based in Toronto, and he had about 4,000 subscribers on this channel he'd built as a creative outlet while he worked a regular job that paid the bills. He got comments all the time, but something about hers stopped him. She'd noticed the thing he was most proud of in that video. The thing nobody else had mentioned, he replied. She replied back, and then they were in each other's lives. Now, I want to be clear about something. This was not a dating app. There was no profile, no bio, no swiping. There was a YouTube comment thread about Portuguese light and the way a particular architect understood silence, which is to say, it was the most romantic origin story I have ever heard. They messaged for 3 weeks before he asked if he could call her, not video, just voice. Because he said, and I love this, he said he wanted to hear how she laughed before he saw her face. She said yes. They talked for 4 hours that first night. Her roommate knocked on her door at 2 a.m., and she waved her away. She sat on her kitchen floor with her back against the cabinet and talked to this person in Toronto about buildings and loneliness and the specific feeling of being in a city that is full of people and still somehow completely alone. And when they finally hung up, she sat in her dark kitchen for a long time, not because she was sad, because something had shifted and she wasn't sure yet what to call it. Now, here is where it gets complicated, because Mara told her best friend about Daniel, and her best friend, who loved her, genuinely loved her, said the thing that a lot of people say. Be careful. You don't really know him. And Mara knew that was true, technically. She knew it was reasonable advice from someone who cared about her, but she also knew that she had talked to this man for 4 hours. And in those 4 hours, he had said things that she had never said to another living person out loud. And he had heard them. And he had not flinched. And he had offered things back that felt equally true and equally unguarded. And she thought, I don't really know a lot of people I've met in person either. Knowing someone is not a function of geography. It's a function of attention. And Daniel paid attention. They did video calls next. 3 times a week, then every day, then sometimes twice a day. He sent her voice notes when something made him think of her. Not performative things, not good morning, beautiful. Just, he heard a piece of music and it reminded him of something she'd said. And he sent it. She started walking past buildings differently, looking up more, seeing the intention behind the structure. She told him that once, on a call, and he went quiet for a moment, and then he said, You know what that is, right? That's you paying attention. You were always capable of that. You just needed someone to pay attention back. She was quiet for a moment, too, and then she said, I think I'm in trouble. And he said, Same. They met in person for the first time 4 months after the comment. He flew to Portland. She picked him up from the airport and stood at the arrivals gate holding a small sign that said the name of the Lisbon building where they'd started. She said the moment she saw him walking toward her, before he even saw her, she knew. Not the excited, heart-racing kind of knowing. The quiet kind. The kind that feels less like fireworks and more like something clicking into place. He saw the sign and he laughed, really laughed. And she thought, that's the laugh I already knew. They have been together for 3 years now. They are engaged. They are getting married in the fall. And his mother, who had concerns initially about the whole thing, about the internet, about the distance, his mother pulled Mara aside at Christmas last year and said, I don't understand how you found each other, but I understand that you were supposed to.
I almost didn't send it. I typed the message out and stared at it for 20 minutes.
Convinced that you were out of my league, out of my area code, out of my life's jurisdiction.
But something made me press the button anyway. A Tuesday night with nothing left to lose, And you wrote back in 7 minutes, and I have not stopped talking to you since. 1,000 miles of Wi-Fi, and somehow you were closer than anyone in the room. I fell in love with your voice at 2 a.m. You laughed through a speaker, your face on a screen, 1,000 miles of Wi-Fi, and you were right here. My friends said it wasn't real, that you can't love someone you've never stood beside. But they didn't hear the way you said my name, and your night through a screen when I was trying not to cry. You saw me in my kitchen with no makeup on, and told me that was your favorite version of my face. You fell asleep on FaceTime, and I watched you breathing and realized I had never felt this safe in any place. 1,000 miles of Wi-Fi, and somehow you were closer than anyone in the room. I fell in love with your voice at 2 a.m. You laughed through a speaker, your face on a screen, 1,000 miles of Wi-Fi, and you were right here. I saw you staring at rivals, and you were shorter than I thought, and more beautiful than any screen could hold. And you grabbed my bag before I said hello, and I knew that everything we built through glass was the most real thing I'd ever known. No more countdowns, no more screens, 1,000 miles of Wi-Fi, and now you are standing right beside me. I fell in love with your voice at 2 a.m., and now I get to hear it every morning when I wake. 1,000 miles, and you were always right here. No more my own, no more my own.
Take a breath with me for a second. I want to sit here for just a moment before we go to story 2, because I think Mara and Daniel's story does something important. It reminds us that the places we find love ain't the point. The point is always the attention. The point is always, did someone see you? Did you see them back? Did you both decide, against the odds and the voices and the doubt, to keep showing up? That's the whole thing. That's always been the whole thing. Mara found it in a comment section about architecture. The woman in our next story found it even further from home, and she found it the hard way.
I need to tell you up front that this next story starts in a dark place. Not because I want to leave you there. I don't, and it doesn't stay there. But because I think it would be dishonest to skip over where it begins. The beginning is part of the love story. You can't understand what they found without understanding what they came from. Her name is Priya. She was 38 years old, living in London, and she had lost her mother 14 months before this story starts. A sudden loss. The kind you don't see coming and don't know how to metabolize because your body keeps expecting a phone call that is never going to come. She tried everything that people suggest: therapy, journaling, keeping busy, and all of those things helped partially, and then stopped helping at the edges. The part that nothing was touching was the 3 a.m. part. The part where she woke up and the silence was too loud, and she didn't want to call anyone because she knew they were tired of her grief. Not because they said so, because she was tired of it herself. She found a forum online, a grief support community, private, moderated, anonymous. She started reading other people's posts and not posting herself, just not being alone in the dark, just knowing that other people were awake at 3 a.m. too, for their own reasons, carrying their own specific weight. And then one night, she posted something, just a few lines, about missing her mother's voice specifically, not her presence, not advice she would have given, just the particular sound of her voice saying Priya's name. She said she'd never put it into words before, and she didn't know why she was putting it into words to strangers on the internet at 3 a.m., but she was. 3 people responded. One of them was a man named James. He was 39, based in Vancouver, Canada. He had lost his father 2 years earlier, and he wrote back something that, she told me she still has screenshotted on her phone. He wrote, "My dad used to say my name in this specific way when he was proud of me, like there was a whole sentence in it. I know exactly what you mean. I think the voice is the last thing we let go of. Maybe because it's the thing that first told us we were loved." She read it 4 times. She replied. They talked for 2 months inside the forum before he asked if she wanted to take the conversation somewhere else. Not because he had any intention of it becoming anything other than what it was, but because they had run out of things that fit inside a public forum. There was too much to say. She said yes, cautiously. They moved to email. Actual emails, long ones, the kind that took an hour to write and arrived like small gifts in an inbox full of newsletters and work threads. She said she started looking forward to her inbox in a way she hadn't looked forward to anything in over a year. He was funny. She hadn't expected that. Not in a performative way, not jokes exactly, just this dry, quiet wit that made her read sentences twice to catch the thing he'd slipped in. She started writing him things she hadn't told her closest friends, about her mother, about the version of herself that existed before the loss and the version after, and how she wasn't sure they were the same person, about what she was afraid of, about what she still wanted from her life despite everything. He wrote back. He matched her. He didn't minimize or redirect or tell her to look on the bright side. He just stayed. Here is where I have to tell you what happened to the doubt, because it arrived right on schedule. Priya's sister found out she was talking to someone online, a stranger in a grief forum in Canada, and her reaction was everything you might expect. Concern, protectiveness, a list of reasons why this was not safe, was not wise, was not the kind of thing that leads anywhere good. And Priya listened. She really did, because she loved her sister, and her sister was not wrong to be cautious. But she also thought about something James had said to her once, about grief. He said, "Grief makes you very honest. You stop having the energy to pretend, and that actually makes you very available to real things. Real things find you when you've stopped performing." She thought about that a lot. She thought about how she had never, in 38 years, in real life, in offices and parties and first dates at restaurants, she had never felt as genuinely known by another person as she felt by this man she had never met. And she thought, maybe that's not a warning sign. Maybe that's actually the thing.
They met in person at the 14-month mark. He flew to London, not for a date,
They both agreed they had to either meet or stop, because the in-between was becoming its own kind of pain. She picked him up at Heathrow. She said when she saw him, she felt, and these are her exact words, she said she felt like exhaling. Not excitement, not nerves resolving, just exhaling. Like something she had been holding since her mother died, some part of her that had been braced against the world, just let go. They walked around London for 12 hours that first day. She showed him the places that mattered to her. Her mother's favorite park, the bakery she used to go to on Saturdays, the street where she grew up. He didn't say much. He just walked beside her. She told me that was the thing. He knew that this wasn't a tour. He knew she was introducing him to someone who wasn't there anymore. And he treated it that way. He treated her mother's memory with the same care he treated it in every email. That evening, sitting on a bench by the Thames, he reached over and held her hand. Not as a romantic gesture necessarily, just as a continuation of everything they already were to each other. She looked at him, and she said, "I didn't think I was going to get to have this." He said, "Neither did I." That was 4 years ago. They are married now. They live in London. He moved. He says it was the easiest decision he ever made. Her sister threw them a party when they got engaged. She gave a speech that started with the words, "I was wrong, and I have never been so happy to be wrong in my life."
We were so young when we promised this, standing in clothes we could barely afford. You laughed during the vows because I was shaken, and I loved you for that more than any word. We did not know what we were signing up for. The years that bent us, the doors that closed. We did not know that love was not the feeling, but the choosing every morning when the feeling came and goes. And I am still choosing you after all the weather and the wind. I am still choosing you. The way I did when I had nothing but a prayer. I am still choosing you. I have watched you carry things you never mentioned, watched you sit beside me when you had no words to give. I have watched you fall asleep mid-sentence, and loved you in the ordinary way that people live. We are not the couple in the photographs anymore. We are louder, softer, slower, more. We are every argument we learn to walk back from, every locked door we decided to open once more. And I am still choosing you Not because it's easy, because it's true. I am still choosing you the way I did when the world was only me and you. I am still choosing you. Every year, still you.
You know what strikes me about both of those stories? Neither of them started with a profile picture. Mara started with a paragraph about light. Priya started with a sentence about her mother's voice. And I think that matters. I think the way you begin a thing tells you something about what it is. Because when you lead with words, when you lead with the thing you actually think, the thing that is actually true about what you're experiencing, you give someone the chance to respond to you. The real you, not the curated version, not the best photo, not the bio that sounds good. You. And when someone responds to that with attention, with something equally real, you've already done something that some people in the same room together for years never manage. You've actually met each other. Our last story tonight is about a man who had been told, directly, explicitly by people who knew him, that online relationships were not for serious people. He believed them for a long time, and then he didn't. His name is Marcus. He was 41, divorced, 2 years out, living in Atlanta, doing well by most external measures. Good job, good friends, healthy enough habits, not unhappy. Just sealed. Like something that had been shut and latched, and the key put somewhere inconvenient. He had opinions about online dating. He expressed them regularly to anyone who asked, and several people who didn't. It was shallow. It was performative. It was for people who couldn't handle real human interaction. He had tried it briefly after his divorce, and he had found it exhausting and transactional, and he had deleted every app within 6 weeks and felt righteous about it. His friends nodded and did not push back because Marcus, when he'd made a decision, was not a person you push back on. But there was a community he was part of online, a group of people who loved a very specific type of documentary film. Not a romantic space, not a dating space. A niche, small, passionate group of people who argued about cinematography and recommended things to each other and occasionally got into very spirited disagreements about whether a particular director deserved their reputation. He liked it there. It felt honest. People said what they actually thought. There was a woman in the group. She went by a username, the way people do, who had opinions he frequently disagreed with and occasionally found himself reading twice because she'd gotten to something he hadn't quite articulated himself. He found that annoying. He found it interesting. He started paying attention. Her name was Sophia. She was 38, based in Lisbon. Yes, Lisbon, which I realize is the second time that city has come up tonight. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think Lisbon is simply a city that understands love. And she worked in film distribution, and she had been part of this online community for 2 years. She did not know Marcus was paying attention. She was just being herself, making arguments, changing her mind when someone made a better point, occasionally posting recommendations at 11 p.m. when she couldn't sleep. One night, she meant to send a voice note to the group chat, a quick response to a heated debate about a documentary that had just come out. She sent it to Marcus directly by mistake. He listened to it. It was 40 seconds long. She was passionate. She was slightly exasperated. She said the phrase, But that's the entire point, isn't it? In a way that made him replay it. He didn't tell her she'd sent it to the wrong place. He responded, "Now, I want to pause here because I know what some of you are thinking. That's a little bit devious, Marcus, and yes, it was. He knew it and he owned it later, and she thought it was, in her words, either very creepy or very charming, and I decided to find out which. They talked. They argued. They found that the place they disagreed was much smaller than the place they agreed. And the disagreements were the fun kind. The kind where you leave the conversation having thought something you hadn't thought before. He didn't tell her for a while that the voice note was a mistake, because he didn't know how to explain why he hadn't corrected it without explaining that he'd been paying attention for longer than was strictly normal. He told her eventually, 4 months in, when things were serious enough that honesty felt necessary. She was quiet for a moment, and then she said, "I know." He said, "What do you mean you know?" She said, "I sent it to the wrong person on purpose. I sent it to the right person on purpose. I'd been paying attention too." This is the part of the story where Marcus, self-described skeptic, man with opinions about online relationships, person who had declared the whole enterprise shallow and performative, this is the part where I had nothing to say. For a full 30 seconds. And then he started laughing. She started laughing. And they laughed together across 4,000 miles for a long time. His friends did not take the news well initially. Not because they had anything against Sophia. They didn't know Sophia. But because Marcus was the one who had been most vocal about this. Marcus was the one who had made the argument. And now Marcus was in something that looked a lot like a long-distance relationship with a woman in Portugal he had never physically met. And his friends were deeply unsure what to do with that information. He told them with the particular calm of someone who has stopped caring about being consistent. "I was wrong. It turns out I am capable of being wrong. Please update your files." They met in person 6 months after the voice note. He went to Lisbon. She took him to every building she'd ever loved in that city, which took 4 days and was apparently a significant number of buildings. He told me that by the end of the first day, he understood something he hadn't understood before. He said, "I'd thought that meeting in person would be the moment it became real. Like the online stuff was the preview, and this was the actual thing. But it wasn't like that. It was already real. Meeting in person was it was like seeing in color something you'd already been seeing clearly in black and white. The picture was always true. Now it was also saturated. I've thought about that a lot. The picture was always true. They are together. She moved to Atlanta 18 months ago. She says she did not move for Marcus. She moved because she wanted to live in a city that surprised her. And Atlanta surprised her. She is quick to clarify this. Marcus is quick to agree that this is exactly what happened, and you can hear him smiling when he says it. They still argue about documentaries. She still wins more than he does. He does not find that annoying anymore.
I've walked 1,000 roads alone, through every storm, through every stone. But standing here, I finally see you were the home that waited for me. Your hand in mine, the world stands still. This moment's ours, it always will. No words can say what my heart knows. Today our forever story grows. Two hearts, one promise we make. Through every sunrise, every step we take, in joy and sorrow, through all our days. with us today. I see our future in your eyes, a million dreams beneath these skies. Through seasons change and years go by, I'll be the one who's by your side. You are my strength when I am weak, the only voice I need to speak. No distance far, no mountain high could keep this love from you and I. One promise we make, through every sunrise, every step we take, in joy and sorrow, through all our days. I choose you now and always. Two hearts, one promise so true. Everything I am, I give to you from this day on. Come what may, forever starts with us today. Shelter, a hand for you to hold. And when the years have turned us older, our story's still untold. These vows we speak will hold us more precious than any gold. Two hearts, one promise we made, through every sunrise, every step we've taken, in joy and sorrow, through all our days. I chose you then and always. Two hearts, one promise so true. Everything I was, I gave to you from that day on. Come what may, forever started with us today.
Three stories, a comment about light, a grief forum at 3 a.m., a voice note sent on purpose to the wrong person, and everyone, every single time, had something to say about it. A reason it wouldn't work, a concern, a caveat. May be careful wrapped in love that still managed to carry doubt inside it. And I want to say something about that doubt, because I think it deserves a fair hearing before I close this episode. The people who doubted these relationships were not wrong to be cautious. The world is complicated. People are not always who they seem. Distance is real. Screens can create a version of intimacy that doesn't survive contact with the full weight of a real life. All of that is true. And also, Mara is planning a wedding. Priya's sister gave a speech at a party. Marcus is being corrected about documentaries by someone he loves in the same apartment every single week. The doubt was reasonable. The love was realer. Those two things can both be true. I want to close tonight by talking to the person who is maybe in the middle of something that no one understands, who has found someone across distance, across a screen, across a forum or a comment thread or a Discord server or an app that your friends make faces about, and you don't know how to defend it. Or you're tired of defending it. Or you're starting to wonder if the doubters are right. I want to say to you what every person in tonight's stories eventually learned. You are not naive for believing in what you feel. You are not foolish for paying attention to someone who paid attention back. You are not doing it wrong because you did it differently. Love does not care about the method of delivery. It never did. It only cares about whether you show up, whether you stay, whether you choose, every day, across every mile, through every voice that tells you this isn't real, to keep choosing it. Keep choosing it. This has been Love in Real Time. If tonight's stories moved you, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment. Tell me your story, because I want to hear it, and it might be on this show someday. The music you heard tonight was written specifically for these stories by Gunther Sound. Original wedding and emotional music for the moments that matter. If a song spoke to you, you can find it and license it at the link in the description. New episodes of Love in Real Time drop every week. I'll be here. Take care of yourselves, and take care of whoever you love. Good night.
The doors are opening, the moment's finally here. Every step I'm taking brings me closer, my dear. All the dreams I've dreamed are standing at the end, waiting there to hold me, my lover and my friend. Every guy is on me, but I only see your face. The smile that lights your features and the tears of joy and grace. Let's walk down the aisle, it's the longest of my life. But every step reminds me who you blessed by the angels watching from above. I see my Father's eyes, so proud and shining bright. My mother's gentle smile, my family's love inside. But there's only one direction that my heart is pulling me, toward the man who's waiting where I'm meant to be. The music's playing softly, like heaven's symphony. Each note a celebration of this sacred destiny. My hands are eternally. The walk is over, now we stand as one. Our forever journey has just begun. Here comes forever, here comes love.